My name is Conrad Derschlag. Now, we've all seen the end of a Super Bowl, right? When the media runs up to interview the star players or even big name coaches. Like just this past year, it was Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid with the Kansas City Chiefs trying to be humble about their successes. Now, imagine if they went out and interviewed Tim Terry, who's currently the director of player personnel with the Chiefs. He'd have every right to gloat, saying, "How about our coaching staff? We just won a Super Bowl with a running back getting paid less than $1 million this year. And we even let go of Tyreek Hill the year before, who's now the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL, making nearly $30 million per year. And we replaced him with 3 or 4 other guys with combined salaries that are less than Tyreek's now. Those decisions helped the Chiefs win again. And he'd have every right to say he's the real reason the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. But you'll never hear that because those moves aren't sexy. And they're done behind the scenes of ESPN and the public's eye. Isaiah Pacheco is the Chiefs running back I mentioned earlier. He's a good player, but didn't come with a lot of hype around him. Drafted in the 8th round out of college, compared to the player he replaced, who is Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He was drafted in the 1st round out of powerhouse college, LSU. Helaire was making around $3 million last year, and now he probably won't even be coming back, or even getting that raise that he seemed to be in line for the season before with the Chiefs. Now, in the past few weeks, this topic has been headlining almost near every sports show. Star running backs like Saquon Barkley with the New York Giants, Josh Jacobs of the Oakland Raiders, and even Najee Harris with the Pittsburgh Steelers. All have spoken out that the revenue discrepancy of running backs to other players is far out of line and a change is needed. Martin Rogers, a Fox Sports insider who wrote in June this past year, physically speaking, running backs have become almost among the least valued players of the NFL, despite the physical toll their position exacts, a reality finding louder voices this offseason. This has been going on for the last decade or so, a slow decline of the position. From the year 2000 to 2010, there were 35 running backs taken in the 1st round of the draft. And from 2011 to 2023, there have only been 18 backs taken in the 1st round. This just goes to show how teams are valuing this position. And now, more and more teams are looking at replacing running backs 3 or 4 years into their career, with a 1st round back brought in with a low salary. They want to stop that running back before he gets to the star status and holds their team hostage for a high salary and a 2nd contract in the league. And there lies the main problem. The NFL Players Association agreed to limit the contracts of draft choices coming out of college. And players can't renegotiate deals until after 4 years in the league. Quarterbacks, linemen, and linebackers. Now, they all typically get better experience, but after a few years in the league. But running backs are all about athleticism, and that's at its peak in that first 4 years. Successful teams have found it's better to replace these 4 guys with younger models that are hungry to make a name for themselves. So how do we fix this? It all starts with the NFL Player Union, figuring out a way to allow running backs a different way to negotiate their contracts versus other position players. But that will never work because it wouldn't be fair to the NFL, the positions players. The NFL Owners and Players Association all acknowledge the situation, and it sucks for running backs, or even running quarterbacks. Still, there are too many players and teams thriving to make a big change for one position group. Maybe the Players Association and owners could come to a compromise and agree to lessen the tenure from 4 years in the league to 2 or 3 as a compromise. All players, not only running backs, would benefit from this type of change, but it would drastically affect the owners' pockets, having to pay higher salaries earlier than they were accustomed to. But for now, it is what it is. And the Players Association or the owners are not going to push for change. It's unfortunate for star players like Barkley or even Jonathan Taylor with the Colts, but it's the nature of the Players Union contract. It would take a lot of compromise for owners to agree for a lesser tenure out of the draft, but until then, the running back position will stay undervalued. Thank you.